Okay, let's go.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Probation Officer's Perspective. This is part 3 of the first 48, my first 48, which, if you've been watched the first part, the second part, this is the third part and the final part. And I wanted to talk about where we left off. And where we left off was we had the guy that was being held in jail on a holder that we talked to numerous times from that. And again, when I'm talking, it could seem like days, but we're talking months, and I believe it was year for all the evidence, because it was just like this guy would not. He stuck to his innocence, and they had nothing to do with it. Well, he ended up the forensics evidence found out, for number one, when the pictures were taken of his gunshot wound. And, the way the forensics works, the forensic investigators, the pathologists, the whole 9 yards on everything. So we get back, and the gunshot wound here was a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And the gun that was on the floorboard in the front seat, which was made to look like he had a gun, which is on the front floorboard, not the front seat, but on the front passenger floorboard, was the gun, and his DNA was on the gun. And while the forensics do their job, it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound where he held it right here and shot himself in the arm to make it look like, hey, they shot me too. But, and I don't know if it was a rush thing, because he still claimed he had nothing to do with it. He was innocent. He was the passenger that was in the black SUV that stopped. Okay. And he was affiliated with this drug syndicate. And this was basically, it was a hit. It was to get rid of him. Actually the main guy, because, they found out he was working with the task force. They find out their ways of finding out. And, so he was he was friends with them. But again, his girlfriend had nothing to do with it. She was just it was like collateral damage. But the DNA evidence, everything pointed to everything. Now, we never found out who the driver was of the black Bronco. We could never find that out. He would never say a word. But eventually, that's what happened. So he was found guilty on 2 counts. I believe it was, obviously it was 2 counts of aggravated murder in the first degree, and he got 2 life sentences without parole for that. And then they tacked on some other charges, robbery, because they said, everything was, our investigation, and then you got the forensics, and then you've got the witness statements, you just everything in a whole, goes to the prosecutors and the main prosecutor. You're going to have out west, it's DA, Midwest, out back east, or, it's mainly prosecutor or, not so much the DA. Some of them are still the DA. I don't know why it's just different slang, but, the main elected official, because it's a huge case. It was a huge case. But with all the evidence, it all pointed to him and another person. And again, he was found guilty of aggravated murder, 2 counts, and he got 2 life sentences consecutive without the possibility of parole. So, and then again, there were some other charges. He was found guilty. I think it was aggravated robbery and tampering with evidence. Yes, tampering with evidence. Because he did. So that just goes to show, when you're willing to go that far, and I'm sure, he had people to answer to, and from Detroit, because that's where it was out of, Detroit, that he had to answer to. And it's one of those things, kind of like the politics in prison. When you're running with a faction, you're running in with your group, your car, and you're told to do something, and you don't do it, then you're next. They're gonna do it, and you're gonna get it too. I did find a few pictures. I don't want to get in that. That's actually the SUV right there. That's me standing in the black shirt and tie next to the silver SUV there. I just thought I'd share. Like I said, it was, and then let me see what other pictures I have more. Like I said, I have pictures of the whole case, but I'm obviously not going to do that. That was when I was helping. We were doing the forensics on the bullet holes that went through the individual. I think that was the driver's side. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And went through the door. Didn't come out the other side of the door, but that's the inside of the door panel. And then let's see if I got any more. I think it's the same thing. Now that's measuring the hole. Actually, obviously, you can see the direction of where it came from. That would be the front seat. And this is when we had to go back out of, we had to go back out several times to that vehicle. You know what I mean? It wasn't just one time, and you know what I mean? Well, obviously, like I said at the beginning, they took it forensics, and they go through and do their thing. And then we had to go back out to the vehicle several times to do other things because some things weren't matching up. And the fact that he kept saying he didn't have nothing to do with it, he was innocent. So what it boiled down to is, was it a robbery or we still don't know. Still, because he would never say. We know that he was affiliated with the syndicate out of Detroit, but he would not admit to anything. And he kept saying he was innocent. He was found guilty. He took it to the box, and he was found guilty by the jury of it. So it is what it is. And but with all the evidence that we had, And he wasn't naming any names. He wasn't doing anything. Like he lied a lot. There was a lot of lies in his story, obviously, where he, they shot him and he jumped out. Well, one of the things I left out in the story from the first part, must have been the first part one, was that when he said that he jumped out of the car when it was slowed down at one point, and he jumped out of the car. Well, and then he ran, and then he laid down in the field, and then he said he passed out. The thing that didn't make sense was when we went to the hospital, and then when we saw him, and then when the officers encountered him at first, if you rolled out of a car, you're going to have dirt, gravel, scrape marks. Luckily, you didn't break any bones, but you're going to have, that are for that jumping out of a vehicle. You're going to have it in your hair. You're going to have it scrape marks, your ripped up shirt, maybe pants, whatever. He didn't have any of that. And I didn't want to give it away right away at the beginning. Those of you that's watched, you've seen, then watch this, and hopefully, I didn't get any comments on it, which, it is what it is. But I was hoping I'd get some comments, kind of like, well, he seems innocent, or I wanted to see where the audience was at. Gauging the audience, with comments about this. But I didn't get any, and that's okay. I'm going to do more. This is only one story. I'm going to do some more that are some pretty twisted, or maybe I'll do some that we didn't solve. We couldn't solve. I do have one really good one. About a possible serial killer that was targeting women, young girls that were prostituting, that I worked. I worked the case for that, and that let's just say there was a lot of corruption involved in that. We'll just leave it at that. But yeah, I might do that story next. I don't know. I got to get my notes together and get some things together and try so I can remember everything. But yes, this ends now. This is the final. The guy in the back seat was actually the passenger in the Bronco who pushed over the girl and drove the white car, and he didn't jump out. And then he shot himself in the arm, which we found the weapon, which was in the vehicle already, but he had planted it as in it was the passenger's weapon that he was reaching for, and that he carried a weapon, because that's what he told us. So it was a long, drawn out. I know it sounds like I'm trying to do this in a matter of time so that people can get involved in it and but I'm telling you what, interrogating him was, first off, obviously we thought he was a victim, of something, but we just didn't know anything. We didn't know what until we talked to witnesses that actually finally, when they came forward and said that the driver had grabbed the black duffel bag out of the back seat. And I'm telling you that, so he wasn't in the back seat laying down like you said, or he would have been laying on top of the duffel bag. I mean, we're talking huge, big duffel bag, full, heavy. But anyways, yeah, there was just a lot to it, and I hope you enjoyed it. Again, this is the first time I've ever shared it with anybody, like this into a story. I mean, I've told this story before to other people have asked. I've told the story, but I've never done it on, obviously, a video or anything like that. But yes, so he's spending the rest of his life in prison. He lied a lot. And at the beginning, we really thought something, we didn't know. We thought, there was a lot of different thoughts in it. Was this gang related? Because we, ended up running his background, finding out everything about him and what he was involved in. So we weren't sure, before that. And then we found that out. That still didn't make it right. I mean, they could have been after him. So we had to try to make him safe, keep him safe so we could find out. But he just would not tell anything. Then, like I said, when we finally got some victims that saw the duffel bag, we confronted him about that. Then we caught him in another lie. He shot himself in the arm. Ballistics did, and forensics. That was, what I mean? Did that. And it wasn't just one person. It was several, because his defense attorney kept saying, oh, no, there's no way, And they proved it all. But that was a very long case. We worked that case for a long time before he finally took it to jury trial and was found guilty of the senseless, aggravated murders of those two individuals. But, when you're in that game, like I said, one was collateral damage. That should have not have happened, but no witnesses, you know what I mean? That way. And he sure in the hell wasn't talking. And then he didn't start talking until we started finding out and putting all the puzzle pieces together about all his lies and everything that was going on. That's when he changed. I mean, he still tried to say he was innocent, but he would tell a little bit more information and then a little bit more information. That's how it ended up becoming a robbery, because then he said it was him and his friend and it was a robbery. But it was not. It was a hit, and it came from the syndicate that he was involved in. And I guarantee you, like I said, it's just like a politics in prison. It's either they tell you what to do. If you don't do it, then they're going to find someone else to do it, and then they're going to take you out. So, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that little series. Again, I apologize I didn't get this one here out the next day. I've had a lot of stuff going on. But I am going to start, and I'm going to tell some more, or I'm going to tell some, true stories. Like I said about the one, the with the possible serial killer that I worked. And then, but there's some other ones I'm going to throw in there about, like I said, probation, man. I've got some real funny ones and some not funny ones, some serious ones. I have more stories there because, again, like I was telling you in the first part, you got such a diverse group of individuals that you're supervising with different attitudes, different, brought up different ways. So it's a totally different thing. So it's a lot. I had more fun, but I am going to do a live meet and greet. I want to do that. I may do that tonight. And the reason I want to do that is because so many people, not so much now, they're getting more used to it, that when they leave a comment on some of my videos or whatever, they want to say like, oh well, yeah, you should know because you were on their side, or when it had to do with corrupt cops or something. I'm like, why am I telling you this? Why am I covering this news story? You know what I mean? If I was on that side, no, I'm not. That's why I like to expose the corruption, and I still haven't done that yet on my channel. My own personal corruption that I dealt with. So, in different areas of my careers in my job, field. And so I want to share that with you guys. And so I'm going to start being more interactive. I apologize. I'm going on 3 months now of this channel. And but I want to do this meet and greet so you guys can ask me questions. Then you're going to get to know that, hey, look, he's not that. You know what I mean? Everybody's like, oh, you're a PO. All POs are, pieces of shit, or they're mean, or they're this, or they're that. You know what I mean? And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm retired, number one. Number two, I can tell you 1,000 different stories. Everybody, there's one bad apple, or maybe there's 2 bad apples in a bunch. Not everybody's bad, but you got to take responsibility for yourself too. A lot of these people that complain and stuff weren't doing what they were supposed to do, and then there is some people that were doing what they were supposed to do and they got screwed over by the system, and I've seen it, and that's what I'm saying. I have a lot of stories. But that wasn't me. So don't wrap me up in all that, Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the first 48 stories. And I'm going to start doing some more. I just got to get everything together. Like I said, I found where I have all my notes and stuff like that. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them, so I can refresh my memory. And my recordings. Because you always did recordings, you had a little digital recorder, and you would, when you're doing interviews, or even when you're just calling somebody, or you're doing before, not the actual interview, when you're speaking to that person, but before or after, that's how I used to take all my notes. And then we'd have, I don't know, I forget what you call it now, where they would, we had a couple of the like secretaries, but they would take that, and then they would have to listen to that recorded audio and then type it all into a report. So, but yeah. All right, guys, that's it. I'll see you soon here with something. I'm going to come up with, I might mix the next one in with probation, then go back to that, or I might start that story I just told you about. I want to thank everybody for stopping by, supporting my channel. I really appreciate it. It means the world to me, keeps me going. You know what I mean? Hopefully I can help people. Again, I've never been afraid to always leave my contact information in my channel description. It's been there since day one. You can always reach out to my email. If you ever need anything, help, or, need someone to talk to about whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's why I'm here. Again, you don't see my Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all that stuff running across the screen, or even on my screen at all. It's not about the money. It's about helping people and sharing my stories that hopefully helps other people in your life. Especially the youngsters that need guided, may need some guidance, and even people that aren't. Because we're going to get into my addiction too, like how I overcame my addictions. It wasn't just one addiction. I had more than one. But how I got over my addictions. There's that too. There's a lot to it. A lot to my life that I want to share with everybody in hopes that it will help somebody. If I could reach just one person, or 2 people, or 5 people, or 10 people, or 100 people, that'd be awesome. And I'm not asking anything in return except for hit that like and subscribe button. That's it. That's all you got to do. All right, guys, you have a good night, and we'll see you on the next video. It will be out soon. Peace out.